Michael Jordan was 1-9 against Scottie Pippen. Michael Jordan played in a watered-down expansion league. Michael Jordan played a bunch of bums. He ain't played the level of competition that LeBron played against. Well, I'm here to tell you folks that the 1-9 myths I'm about to expose right here on the Lewis Basketball Network. Stay tuned.
Slick Rick, if they love me or they hate me, it don't make no difference. It be hard not to kill a hoe, cause I be tempted.
Welcome back on this incredible channel we call the Lewis Basketball Network. It is your boy Lewis, and I am back once again with another banger with yet another video. Look at the title, look at the picture. Truth about Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen. As I just mentioned in my little intro, this whole issue about the 1-9 without Pippen has been the same argument the LeBron fans have been using for the longest, in talking about how Jordan has been elevated to this unbelievable pantheon status because of Scottie Pippen. He would not be there without Scottie. So without further ado, let's get right to the reading. Before we begin, I just want to emphasize that I'm not trying to diminish Scottie's accomplishments, and I agree that Jordan would have not won 6 titles without Scottie. There's no question about that. Scottie Pippen was an integral part in helping the Bulls win 6 championships. Trust me, Michael Jordan would have never won without Scottie Pippen, and that's a fact. It's the truth. He would have never won without him. So we need to understand that. But where are we? Though I believe he would have won 2 or 3. You know, it's arguable. Maybe Jordan would have won 2 or 3. Who knows? We don't really know that for sure. However, not being able to win 6 without Scottie is irrelevant, since no player has won 2+ rings without another Hall of Fame teammate. Didn't I say that about LeBron James? Didn't I say that about Kevin Durant? Yet I said that people kept bashing Kevin Durant for the last 3 years about Jordan and Steph Curry, when I said it again that neither LeBron nor Kevin Durant won a championship without a Hall of Fame player or 2+ All-Stars. I've been saying that for the longest, and people show their bias towards either player. The bottom line is neither LeBron nor KD won a championship without 2+ All-Stars and a future Hall of Famer on by their side. Kevin Durant with Steph Curry, LeBron with D-Wade. End of story. Those are facts. Let's see. Barry did it with rookie Jamal Wilkes shooting 32% in the finals. Walton did it once with Hall of Fame coach Jack Ramsey. Hakeem only did it once in '94, but nobody did it more than once. The purpose of this section is to dispel the myths, those by using Pippen as means to discredit Jordan's accomplishments, which is because that's what people try to do. They discredit Jordan by just saying that he did everything without Scottie. And I'm going to ask you again, as great as Scottie Pippen was, and it's always mentioned about the Hugh Hollins call that he would have gotten the Bulls to the Eastern Conference Finals, did the Chicago Bulls win the championship? They didn't. And I think Pippen was jealous of that, and that kind of burns a hole in him, that he wanted to prove that he could be the guy without Michael Jordan. There's always been a little bit of jealousy, and he was living under his shadow. Scottie proved to step out of his shadow for about 1.5 years up until Michael came back, while Scottie had an MVP season in '94. But the bottom line is he didn't win. Jordan's 1-9 playoff record before playing with Scottie Pippen. Having no Scottie Pippen was not the only reason for Jordan's struggles in the first 3 seasons of his career, but according to the LeBron fanboys and the 3-6 Mafia, including LaShannon Sharp, Scottie Pippen is the main reason that Michael Jordan was 1-9 in Jordan's playoff career. Jordan was drafted to a team of multiple cocaine addicts, including Orlando Woolridge and Quentin Daly. Do y'all folks remember Michael Ray Richardson? He was a guy who had who had great talent and could have been one of the best players ever in the history of the game. He got banned from the NBA for his use of drugs as well, and I believe he was a cocaine addict. And I'm pretty sure there had been other guys, because in the 70s and 80s, well, especially in the 70s, drugs were very high in the NBA. Cocaine especially. And as you see here, it says Orlando Woolridge and Quentin Daly were both cocaine addicts. Due to their cocaine addictions, they had to leave the team. Then, Jordan also nearly missed his entire second season to a broken foot. The brother missed 64 games. And in the 18 games he played, the Bulls were 9-9 in Jordan's 18 games that he played. And it says it right here, the Bulls went 21-43 without Jordan. Do you really expect him to make it out of the first round after missing nearly the entire season with a 21-43 team with crack addicts on top of that? Jordan only played 2 full seasons before playing with Pippen thanks to his injury, going off an extremely selective 2-season sample size. One can point out that LeBron didn't even make the playoffs his first 2 seasons, or that Shaq had an 0-3 playoff record after his first 2. Remember, he got swept by the Pacers in just his second season with Penny Hardaway in '94. But as Penny Hardaway mentioned the following year when they met in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pacers, that their team in '94 could not match up with the Pacers team in '94. And people forget that '94 Pacers team that won 47 games, they had the best record in the second half of the '94 season, and they knocked off the Magic, who won 50 games that year, and the Atlanta Hawks, who won 57 games that year and the number 1 seed. And they took the number 2 seeded Knicks, who also won 57 games, to 7 games. People be sleeping on these Indiana Pacers that Reggie Miller played on, man, but the East was tough in the 90s. Jordan's Eastern Conference was a lot stronger in his heyday, and people never want to give him credit for that either. So Jordan having 5 losing seasons in all without Scottie Pippen. We talked about the first 3, but now we're going to go a little bit into his Wizard years. So let's look at this. I mean, for those who keep saying that Michael Jordan was a bum with the Wizards in that entire time and never take things into full context. So as we see here, the first 3 seasons had already been explained. Let's take a look at Jordan's Wizard years full context, right? It says here, 2001-2002, before the injury through 46 games, points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. 25.1 points, 6.2, 5.3, 1.5, half a block on 42%. Slightly better than his 1996 Finals MVP averages. If y'all remember, the 96 Finals was actually Jordan's worst finals of his 6 championships. He averaged 27, he did, but he shot his lowest field goal percentage of any of his championship runs at 41% against a very good, and in my opinion, the most underrated defensive team in NBA history, the 96 Seattle Supersonics, who, while the Bulls dominated with 72 wins, the Seattle Sonics quietly had 64 wins, folks. Number 1 in the West, and they were 38-3 at home, while the Bulls were 39-2. T-Mac was the only player to finish the season averaging at least 25, 6, and 5. Defensively, Jordan had an impact even at this late stage of his career. 2001 Wizards, they were the second worst team in points per game the year before that Jordan came back. Up until the injury, the 2002 Wizards allowed 92.2 points through 47 games, and Jordan missed 1 game at that time. This is him at age 38 going to 39, folks. They allowed 92 points in the 46 he played. That would have been for the 5th best in the league at that time. After his injury, they allowed 96.8 in the remaining 35 games, which fell in the 19th, and defensively, they fell just out of the top 10 in points per game that year. The only thing bad was his field goal percentage, which is true. At the tail end of your career, you're not going to be as great on the field goal percentage, and his low field goal percentage has much more to do with his injuries. Remember, he cracked a rib right before he even played the 01-02 season. He had a very bad knee injury, knee tendonitis, and then he had a back injury. Rather than the defense he was facing, however, low field goal doesn't equate to a negative effect on your team's win column. In the 46 games before his knee injury, the Wizards had a 26-20 record. In the games without him, they were 11-25. So 56, 565 win percentage to a 300 win percentage, big difference. Big difference. In the last 16 games that Rip and Jordan played together, prior to his knee collision, they went 15-1. I believe at some point they won 8 straight before they lost, and then they capped off another 7-game win streak. And they won 13 straight games when both of them played together. Had both Rip and MJ stayed healthy, they very well could have cracked 50 wins despite starting the season 2-9 and being a 19-win team the previous year. After Jordan's injury, Rip went 9-24 in the remaining games he played. So it was clearly Jordan who had by far the most impact on the win column. The following season, Jordan didn't have as much of an impact on the win column in the 03 season as they went 37-45. The same record. His impact prior to the injury is unquestionable, however. Some more facts. Jordan, 31-12 without Pippen in the last three-peat. Jordan, 36-9 without Rodman in 95-96 and 96-97. These are when both Scottie and Rodman were injured in the final three-peat. In the 97-98 season, the Bulls started off 9-7 without Pippen, and then went 15-4 in their next 19 games before Pippen returned. And remember, he missed 38 games that year, folks. Once they found their rhythm, they were playing exceptionally well without him. The 93-94 Bulls had a similar scenario where they started off the season 4-7, but ended up with 55 wins. And the same thing happened with the 01-02 Wizards, starting 2-9 but going 26-20 overall in the games Jordan played pre-injury, even with Rip Hamilton missing about a month. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We are going to go to part 2 in just a